Hi Ricky, my name is Martin and this is my wife Merrill.
Hi.
We're here today to talk about our adoption story, which is actually the mini version of our challenge that we experienced for many years with infertility, which is chronicled in my wife's new book called Murphy Lives Here.
One of the pieces of information I put in the book was about all of the misinformation out there about adoption. When people knew we were struggling to have a baby, we were so many times told, well, just go adopt, like it was so easy. And it's not. It's actually very difficult. And our adoption story certainly did not have the ending that we had hoped for.
And after 7 years of struggling through our infertility challenges, we were, very lucky to be selected for an adoption by two birth parents.
Very lucky, and we were selected when she was 6 months along. So that's pretty good time to know that you're going to be a parent. You still had some months to prepare the house and everything. And we were given a meeting with both of the birth parents and the birth mother's mother pretty quickly. And that was followed by another meeting, and we had weekly email exchanges after that. So basically from 6.5 months forward, we were communicating every week with each other, and we became pretty close, and we were very excited and more assured every day that it was in fact going to happen.
And we actually participated in the real birth at the hospital. In fact, I actually cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah, he was asked to cut the cord, and I was in the room and helping, trying to calm her down during the birth and everything. And we were the ones who named the baby, and we spent probably the majority of 4 days in the hospital with the birth parents and the family of the birth parents, both of them, and their friends, and everybody gave us their blessing and was so grateful to us, and it all seemed too good to be true. So finally there was this tearful exchange between the birth mother and me, and everybody in the room was crying when the birth mother gave me the baby, and we were granted permission to leave the hospital with the baby.
Since it was an out-of-state adoption, by law we actually have to stay within the state where the baby was born until the birth parents could sign off on the release of the child, and it would be also recognized by a court of law. So we actually had the baby with us in the hotel room for about 5 days. So we were, without sleep for 5 days, very joyful, very happy, but totally, zonked without any sleep, taking care of the baby, waiting for this sign-off to take place. And, we started to get a bad feeling that maybe things weren't going to turn out the way that we had hoped.
When we were in the hospital, the birth mother had told me that she was completely at peace with her decision. She knew she was making the right call. We really had no reason to doubt that it was going to happen. So the day that the papers were supposed to be signed, we were anxious, but we thought it was definitely going to happen from all of the signs that we had been given. And we hadn't heard, so we called the agency, and our social worker was nowhere to be found. And finally another social worker called us and said they were not ready to sign the papers. And we asked, well, what does that mean? And they said, well, don't worry yet, we'll see how they feel tomorrow. So another sleepless night for other reasons this time. And the next morning, it was kind of mid-afternoon, They finally called us. It was late afternoon, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they told us,
bring the baby back in an hour.
Bring the baby back. Right now, they have decided that they are going to parent this baby. And we weren't really given a reason as to the change of heart or anything. Not that anything could have made a difference anyway. But it was pretty heartless because it was done so quickly. Our social worker, again, was never involved. And we just had to bring the baby back right away. So our adoption story did not have our happy ending.
Yeah, our adoption story was really heartbreaking. But fortunately, a year ago, my wife gave birth to our own child. So we're very happy now.
We probably, I don't know, if I wouldn't advise anyone not to go for adoption, because at first we had a lot of regrets and we blamed ourselves for maybe being too trusting, but I don't think you get anything without risking anyway, so I don't have any regrets.
Yeah, I would agree. Basically, you know that there are risks out there and you hope that there's also a reward out there. But I think that people really do need to know just how risky adoption can be, and also to know legally what challenges are out there. I would also recommend somebody, if they're going to go down that path, to at least discuss with a lawyer or with somebody other than an adoption agency, just so that you can get a full insight of what you might be up against. And so we hope that we get to meet you, Ricky, in person.
Bye.
Bye now.